What's up, guys? This week on the pod, we got Cola Boyy. We're going to go through his story of getting into punk rock and then turning it into a real special musical act out of Oxnard. If you're not familiar with Cola Boyy, his roots are in punk, but now he plays like it's like a modern disco R&B style. So look it up on Spotify. It's fucking awesome. Or check out the Patreon pod that I'll post tomorrow. And if you would like to support the podcast, please like, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Please share it with your friends. Please repost it on social media. And please just give it a like and leave a quick review wherever you listen. That really helps and goes a long way. If you'd like to go the extra mile, please go to patreon.com/185 miles south, and you can become a monthly supporter of the show. These are the people that keep the show alive. It's the reason why I was able to come up to Oxnard this weekend and get an Airbnb and, interview people like Scott Vogel, Cola Boyy, do the Joe and Stu talking Nardcores and all that. So much love to the patrons. That's patreon.com/185 miles south. Let's get on with the show, man. It's time for some fucking Cola Boyy.
"185 Miles South", a hardcore punk rock podcast.
All right, this week we got Matthew Urango.
Yeah, Urango, yeah.
Perdóname, mi español es mierda. But AKA motherfucking Cola Boyy.
That's right.
What's up?
What's up, Zach?
What's going on? So happy to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think that Oxnard is a special place because I don't think that there's too much of like hate or like jealousy, at least in our generations, right? You're 30?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 40. I mean, I just root for everyone's success.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, Anderson Paak blew up, and it was like, fuck yeah. And then see Cola Boyy's putting out a record, I'm like, fuck yeah. And then like all the new like punk rock shit,
yeah,
it's like firing. It's just like, fuck yeah. Like Dead Heat comes out, they start blowing up. I'm like, woo. Like I don't want to be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want everyone to be the best.
Definitely.
And what is it? Like a high tide rises all boats or whatever. Like
I've never heard that one. That's a good phrase.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I think because we're not like a tier 1 city, that we gotta like root for everyone to do good.
Yeah. That's how it should be, I think,
Yeah, for sure. Have you always been into music like your whole life?
Yeah, kind of. When I was really little, I mean, I didn't play an instrument till I was like probably in 7th grade. I picked up guitar. Mm-hmm. I tried playing drums when I was a kid for like a year. I was learning drums on like a little kid set.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wanted to sing and do shit, but like I was never, I wasn't the best. I wasn't super natural at it, but I had a little bit of ability when I was young, but it didn't take it serious till junior high. Yeah.
What about just being a fan of it? Did you find yourself being like kids have lots of different interests, but like, since I was in 4th grade, like music was like my shit. Whether it was like Motley Crue or whatever you like, it was like I was all the way into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I was the same. When I was really young, I actually really liked a lot of like terrible music when I was little. Uh-huh. Like a lot of the like 90s like pop music, Mm-hmm. Specifically too like stuff like Lil Bow Wow,
Sure.
Because I really liked I saw that it was other little kids making music or kids making music, so I was like, I was into that, and I even did I did a talent show in like the 5th grade, and I lip synced a little Bow Wow song.
Yeah, that's sick though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing you can do it, right?
Yeah.
And there is something infectious about the music.
Yeah. And even like you remember this group? Oh, they're pretty bad. Hanson.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was about that. I was really about. Yeah, that's.
Dude, that shit is fucking funny. Can you imagine like being the Hanson brother that brought that to practice? You know, like, all right, dude, here I'm gonna go bop, and you're gonna go shooba ba bop, and you're gonna go ooda ba bop.
That must. Now I wonder which one it was that did it.
It had to be the drummer. He had all the talent. The little guy.
Yeah, I feel like I hope that's who it was.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
That kid was fucking young.
Yeah.
He had to be like 9 or something.
Yeah, ripping on the drums.
Yeah.
That was dope.
I know. That'd be weird to be like the oldest one. Like you know your parents are like pressuring you to stay in the band. It's like, Mom, I want to go hang out with girls. Like, shut up and practice your guitar, boy.
I think the kids were like, I think that band was like Mormon too. Okay. So they probably came from maybe a strict family.
Probably, huh?
Their discipline. That's probably why they were so good at their instruments. You know.
Yeah, because it was just 3 brothers. It's wild.
You know, it's funny. I had mentioned the talent show thing, where I did a little Bow Wow song. The same talent show. I think it was the same talent show. Smurf from Dead Heat did a Linkin Park song.
Oh, you get put on blast, fool.
I had to. That one's actually like, that's less embarrassing. I think mine's more embarrassing. Like Linkin Park, like everybody has like kind of respect them. They have some songs that from back in the day that were like pretty. For me, I mean, I was a kid. I wasn't into punk and anything like that yet. So like to me, it was like that early like for me it was like alternative when I was like 5th grade. So it was cool. So. My generation, everybody has respect for that.
Okay.
Linkin Park.
They were like one of the bands where people would be like, well, they're the best of the worst. You know, they're not Limp Bizkit, at least.
Yeah.
You know?
They definitely surpassed Limp Bizkit on that one.
You know, when I was in 5th or 6th grade, I had an embarrassing talent show, too. I think we did it for like fucking maybe Earth Day or something. Mm-hmm. And I did like a "We Will Rock You" rap with like about saving the earth.
Wow. You wrote it yourself?
Yeah.
That's dope.
It was so bad, dude. It was like, save the earth. But then I did like the rap of it. I wish I could remember the words.
Did you have a beat behind it? Or?
I was like playing like the instrument. Like you used to buy like, you'd buy like the CD single. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of like buying hip hop singles now. You know, it's like they got the normal, then they got the acapella, and then they got the instrumental.
Or like the clean version, the explicit version, and then the instrumental.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I know, clean version, man. That's something you don't think about that much anymore.
Because I don't gotta worry about it when we're adults. It's like
I know.
When I was a kid, like for me, my mom was pretty like kind of strict, not strict on like me listening to music with like bad words and shit, but like she cared. She was more like, I don't like that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But my dad didn't care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of had, like, sneak stuff. And, like, when my dad would buy me CDs with bad words on them and shit. Or, like, explicit CDs, you know? Like, hip-hop shit. So.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at Laser Star, when, like, there was the night manager there, he'd let me play any CDs I wanted as long as there's no bad words. Mm-hmm. And I only had 2 that didn't have bad words. One was, like, a Shelter CD. And then the other one was the censored version of Warren G.
What?
You know? Yeah.
Wait, why did you have a censored version of Warren G?
Because my friend Posy Josh gave it to me. He's like, I don't like the CD. Here, you have it. And it was like, it was better than not having Regulate.
That's true.
You know, it's like...
That's very true.
You know, I'm not going to buy it again.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that much cussing on it, you know? It's like, it's a pretty soulful record. Mm. You know? I still love that record.
And I think the editing, like, this is random, but I think the editing back then for, like, clean versions was a lot more like they paid a lot more attention than now. Like nowadays, like when you hear a rap song that's like edited to be clean, it's so lazy. It's just like the most ugly, like they drop down and it sounds like shit completely.
Well, I think you would be disappointed by this because I think that it was just like a blank. Like you'd be missing a word.
I prefer that honestly than like the
scratch.
It's almost like when you turn the record to, like a turntable off. Yeah. It's just like, but it's offbeat completely.
I know it's bad.
Especially like the radio stations, they do it a lot. Like,
they
don't really try anymore with that. It's kind of a.
Yeah, I think when that newest Gangstar record like leaked before it came out, and I got it and was listening to it like that, and it was just like, this is hard to listen to.
Mm-hmm. I like it when they edit records that are the clean versions, and they actually change the word. Like they'll change the phrase.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's actually pretty funny, like what they change the words to. Just like in badly dubbed movies where they say like really funny shit.
Yeah, I remember like watching Crocodile Dundee, and there was like that scene. It's like he's eating alligator, and it's like it's okay to live on, but it tastes like shit. And then on like when you watch it on like Saturday afternoon, it's all it's okay to live on, but it tastes like dung. It's like
or like tastes like stuff.
Yeah, stuff. You know, yeah. I mean, to change the sensitive version like that actually like adds a layer of creativity. And sometimes it's better. It's like when you hear like a good clean joke, you're like, oh, that was actually really intelligent.
Yeah. You didn't need to cuss. To make it funny.
Yeah, because it's easy to like punchline on something dirty, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, little big old pussy.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's nasty though. You know.
Yeah, but at the same time, curse words they're funny.
No, I know.
They're still funny.
and also, like, it helps with, like, rhythmically, right?
Yeah,
like,
certain words just have certain inflections. Like, the F word, like, come on, you can't not use that. Like, fuck, like, it has a good inflection, I mean, but it's just not over. I think words in general, just, like, whether it's, like, curse words or not, like, we tend to have a lot of filler words that we use. So it's actually good not to try to take those filler words out of, like, when we talk or even when we write lyrics or like sing or do whatever. Like, I think reducing the amount of filler words, whether it's cussing or not, is good. It's a good practice. Yeah,
I really have a lot of respect for people when you listen to them talk and they have like a good economy of words. Like they're not like blabbering.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, this medium right here doing the podcasting stuff is brutal for like your self-reflection of how you talk.
Oh yeah.
Like
I'm definitely not going to listen to this after because I don't watch videos of myself or anything either. I'm really self-conscious, kind of like still working on that, I guess, but like yeah.
But how about when you're like editing video? You have to watch it then, right? You just don't watch the final product?
I have to watch it because I don't want it to look like some shit that I don't like, you know? So
absolutely.
I'll put myself through that, but as far as like live performances, things like that, like me, like I realize that like, I guess certain ways I move, I guess, it probably is because of my disability that like, I get self-conscious if I see a video and it's like, because when you're yourself and you're just walking around doing whatever, you're not seeing yourself move around, you know? And so when you see it on video, it's like, wow, I really look like that? Like, what the fuck? You know, like,
yeah, but everyone, I don't think that's exclusive to you and having a disability. I think everyone feels like they look stupid when they see themselves.
I agree.
You know, like, you know, whether you think you're fucking too, like fat or you just move weird or whatever the fuck ever.
Certain angle or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, like, do you feel like you have a good side?
Yeah.
Me too. Like, I feel like if I'm like, get me on this side. You know?
Definitely. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, or like sometimes for me, it's funny, like, sometimes I'll see like photos from like a live show, and it'll be from like people who are like professional photographers, supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's like I look like shit, and I'm just like, yo, like how the fuck? Out of all the pictures, this is and it's like for me, it's like I see myself as in this way, like, oh, I don't like how I look.
Yeah.
But then they post it anyway, so in their head maybe they're just like, oh, you look fine, but it's just. And maybe it's all in my head and shit. But
well, it's hard to know what they're going for, right? Because like that's their art.
Yeah.
So like their art isn't to make you look good; it's to capture whatever they're looking for.
Yeah, and that's very true.
Yeah, and who knows what that is? Like they could just be a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to make every fucking pretty looking person look stupid.
Yeah, like I want to make this guy look like shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess I just more like I just let go. You know, I just don't even. Try not to let any of that, like, bother me. Just focus on what I'm doing and not, like, not get stuck on things, you know?
Well, that's music, and that plays into, like, how punk is, too, right? Like, you can kind of tell when someone's, like, a little too choreographed, and you're like, that doesn't seem authentic.
Yeah.
And I think kind of dance is like that, too. You know, like, you feel it. And so it's
definitely.
like, it comes through, like, sincere, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. So you start playing guitar in 7th grade, and are you already into punk, or what are you playing along to? Like, you're not playing Linkin Park; it's too complex.
No. No, I was like, I think I picked up guitar and I was playing like the shit that like everybody plays when they first play guitar. You know, like Black Sabbath,
Sure.
AC/DC,
Uh-huh.
all that type of shit. You
Yeah.
know? And no, but I got into punk like the next year,
Okay.
8th grade.
And how did that come across your plate?
Well, I guess I was already introduced to punk without really knowing before from like the Tony Hawk video games and stuff. you
Sure.
know? Of course, like classic.
Yeah.
And but in 8th grade, a friend of mine named Kaylee Gish, she showed me like the Ramones
Uh-huh.
and the Sex Pistols. I think.
Yeah.
The two, like, you know, of course, like from the start, like standard punk stuff. Like she showed me that, and the Ramones specifically, like that was like I don't know. It really got me. It was like an anthology, or like Loud Fast Ramones. It's like a compilation of
Okay.
all their songs,
Yeah.
their hits,
Yeah.
and that from there on, I was like, yo, this is the shit right here.
Well, that's the shit to play guitar to.
Yeah.
When you're starting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know?
It's so easy.
Yeah. And it was cool too. I think shout out Bedge. I think he's the one that told me, like, when you used to play that cassette in your car, you know, you had the little knob that you could like pan right or pan left on your speakers. It's all bass in one speaker and all guitar on one side.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fucked up. Like, if you had a boombox and one of your speakers blown, like you're listening to no guitar or no bass.
Damn.
So fucked up.
That kind of makes it cooler. Though, huh?
Yeah, I mean that is a thing in the studio.
Yeah,
like how
panning,
I don't know the phrase, but how like out or in you want
Yeah,
it
it's
to
like
be.
panning.
Yeah, panning. Yeah, yeah. So, do you start like discovering that there's local bands through your friend?
Yeah, actually around that time, that was 8th grade, I went to Fremont. Mm-hmm. So
EO Green represent.
oh shit. You know, it's funny because when I was in junior high, it to me it felt like I find out later about all these junior high schools, and like, but in the moment I didn't. It was like as if they didn't exist. It was like Fremont was the one only like junior high on the fucking planet.
I think that there was only 2 back then when I was going.
Damn.
Yeah,
There was no Fremont's been there since.
I know Fremont would be the second.
Okay.
Yeah, EO Green, Fremont, and no Blackstock.
Okay.
Blackstock is a elementary
Yeah.
or a
It's
junior
like
high?
6th through 8th grade, I think.
Okay, so then those 3 I think were the Nard ones.
But yeah, there was other punks at my school, and they were super nice to me. You know, like I used to get bullied a lot when I was young, so like the punks were always pretty like right away they were super welcoming and nice to me. So I think that probably added to it.
Yeah, if you're already kind of liking it, and then like the people are nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and, you know, they were inviting me. They were showing me like local stuff. Like Ill Repute was the first one that I heard.
yeah.
The first local like nardcore band.
It doesn't matter like what age you are; they're going to be the first.
Yeah.
Like I bet you they were the first for Civil Conflict too. You know?
Probably, huh?
Yeah,
And then like, yeah, I think it was a song Oxnard.
yeah,
And I was just like, holy shit. Like, for one, I was like, holy shit, this sounds crazy.
yeah,
Then I was thinking, damn, they're talking about Oxnard, you know?
yeah.
Those two things, and it was, this was like 2003, maybe?
Okay.
So, like, I think my Zanga was a thing, like a blogs were a thing. My MySpace was like was just about to start, but not yet. So like the access to seeing like what this was, and like was pretty limited to like Google, and then there was like an old nardcore like Ill Repute website back in the day. Mm-hmm. So just from there, looking at like the websites and like seeing like images of shows and stuff, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's pre high speed internet for most people. Because I remember I didn't get high speed internet till 06, I think.
Damn.
Because I remember I was living in North Hollywood in 03, and I still had like dial up. Because like one time I wanted to like get Freebird, you know, I downloaded it. Like I want to get the song. It's like an 8-minute song. It took like 6 hours or some
Holy
shit, you know.
Was that like on like Napster or something?
I can't even remember. Like like LimeWire or
LimeWire
Napster or something.
Shit, yeah.
Allegedly, I never downloaded anything illegally.
But yeah, like
Yeah, so you're finding like a little tidbits of this stuff.
Yeah.
And getting a little bit of information for your friends.
and like Dr. No, I think was the second one, or Aggression.
Yeah.
You know, and and they would always my friends would always invite me to shows, but I was never able. My mom was like, "Nah, you're not going out with these people I don't know." Like, hell no. So I didn't really go to shows till I got to high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then did anyone stand out? Do you remember who you would see and like?
As far as like shows,
Yeah.
early on. Well, the first show I ever went to, I'm pretty sure the first show I ever went to was a Battle of the Bands at Oxnard High School.
Nice.
And it was Take Your Best Shot,
Okay.
and Total Resistance, and
Awesome.
like California Redemption.
Yeah.
It was, and I remember I was probably like 14 or 15, and there was dudes there that I went to, like Take Your Best Shot, Vince Amador and
Cool.
Patrick Bustillos, who I knew already. I knew both of them already. Patrick I didn't know personally, but just from around. He went to my junior high.
Yeah.
And Vince I knew personally from school. So seeing dudes that I knew like on the stage ripping a set, and like I got euphoria because there were so many fucking people there at the show. I mean, I guess now if I saw it, it probably was like 70 people, but in the moment it felt like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And like a circle pit that looked like 200 people.
Yeah.
Like, and I was really, I'm still small, but I was really little. So like, it was at a high school, so there was like actual jocks there too. You know, like dudes in like the pit, like buff ass foods, like going around and like, and so I was like, I actually had euphoria. Like I felt like shit slowed down.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, this is amazing and scary as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people talk about, like, in the first show they go to, like, when they see, like, a big pit breakout, it's like, it slows down, and it's like, it's almost like tribal, you know, and it's like, oh, there's something to this. Like, there's a method to the madness, you know?
I would say that was the only time I ever felt that. Was
Yeah.
that first time seeing it.
Yeah.
And this is the most funny thing I remember. People don't do this anymore, but like the dudes that were like slam dancing and like floor punching and shit were wearing. Everybody would wear bandanas over their face. This was like a trend at that time.
It was like a year-long trend.
Yeah, it was like they were like I remember seeing like in the lobby of the gymnasium, dudes like putting on bandanas over their faces and then going to like floor punch and shit. And it was really weird, but like
I think they went to, like, Warped Tour one year, and you had to do that, because, like, when you're slamming in the dirt, you know?
okay,
Yeah.
maybe that was
That's a thing.
It was because I didn't see that I saw that like for like 1 year,
Yeah.
and then I never saw that again.
I mean, yeah. You know, weird fashions flow through it. And a lot of, like, suburban white kids, like, want to dress tougher.
Like gang type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It looked pretty cool. I mean, when I was 15, I was like, damn, this shit looks hard.
Well,
you
if
know?
you're 15, like, anything some 18-year-old is doing looks cool.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's weird, like, how the age gap, like, widens.
Yeah, and now when we think about 18-year-olds as like fucking kids, like young.
Yes.
That's crazy. I felt like I thought I was a fucking. I knew everything when I was 18.
Yeah. No, I know. I talk about that sometimes on the pod, that, like, the most washed up I ever was in my life is when I was 24. Like, at, like, the end of In Control, I was, like, so fucking bitter and just washed up and, like, a piece of shit. And then, like, you kind of pull out of it, and you're like, oh, like, just be normal. Like, you know, like, I don't know. You kind of find that music is, like, a passion that you're going to do forever.
Yeah.
You know, where, like, when you're in the thick of it and you're not, like, really succeeding, it can really, like, beat you down.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. Going at it for so long and feeling like, but at the same time, the part of you is like, well, I don't do this to be like successful.
Sure.
But then there's another part of you that's like, well, it would be nice to like, you know, have some like some wins here, you know, and some like some bigger steps.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't know. It's weird for me. Like I don't know. I'm still like new to my music career right now,
Yeah.
but like I don't value it so much over like the years I spent before this, you know, in the
Sure.
punk scene or doing like stuff with this. I used to be in this band called Sea Lions, it's an indie pop band. All those years I cherish, and I think I like a lot of those years were a lot more like genuine and like real to me than certain things I experience now, you know.
Well, let's go through it. So you start going to shows, and then how do you get motivated to want to do your own band?
It takes a while. It's funny because I was playing guitar in high school. I had guitar class, and I think I always had this urge to like want to perform. I mean, I did the talent show when I was a kid.
Sure.
My grandmother was a lounge singer in the old days.
Nice.
So she would always like sing around the house when I was at her place and stuff. So I had it in me, but
Did she ever record?
no, she passed away when I was 14, and I'm so angry because like when I was 14 is when I really started like focusing on guitar more and like taking music a little more serious. Well, like not so serious, but it was the beginning, I guess.
You started respecting the craft.
Yeah. And but she passed away before I could even like really have a grasp on like the fact, a grasp on the reality of what she did, and having the maturity in myself and the discipline to like care and ask her like what it was like and stuff.
Sure.
So I regret that. I always regret that. But I was young. Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
But there's no recordings of her. No, she was like, I don't know much other than she toured around the U.S. like and doing like
playing gigs,
black clubs and stuff, like lounge singing. But even my dad, it's his mom. She was his mom. He doesn't know much either. So
yeah. Well, it was probably when she was pretty young.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. So I was in high school playing guitar. I had guitar class. Shout out to Mr. Wingland at Pacifica High School.
Oh yeah.
We were terrible to him, but he was like kind of a, I don't know if you had guitar when you were in class when you were in high school.
Nah.
The guitar teachers are just as nuts as the fucking kids are,
Yeah. I wish we had guitar in high school.
It was pretty dope. Like, honestly, we didn't do shit. He tried to teach us, and then like, we were bad. We were pretty bad,
Yeah.
I think I smoked weed the first time ever in his class.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was in guitar class in high school, and I was hanging out with the punks.
Mm-hmm.
I was a punk, at that point. And my friends, when I was like 16, my friends started a band. Like 4 or 5 of these dudes started a band, and I was the only one that was like, they didn't ask to be in the band. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this is bullshit. But I think that was in the back of my head that I was upset about it. But at the time, I was just like, cool, hell yeah, you guys do your thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for me. I didn't start playing in a band till I was 17.
Okay. And then what was your first band?
It was called FBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Standing for?
I don't want to say.
Oh.
It's pretty offensive.
Okay.
No, I don't care. Whatever. It was standing for full blown AIDS.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And it was like, we were 17, and it's a pretty offensive name, but I mean, like.
But that's the point.
Yeah. That's the point when you're a punk and stuff, and you're like, it was kind of like a thrashcore band more than a punk band.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started that band with a dude named Juan. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. That was we used to play a lot with X Malcolm X,
Stu's first band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's an offensive ass show, huh?
Yeah. X Malcolm X is a clever name though. Yeah. But yeah, we did some shows in LA and stuff. That was my first like actual band,
Yeah.
And me and the drummer was a singer.
Okay.
And we wrote together.
So you were a songwriter?
Yeah. We shared songwriting definitely a lot. And I was in that band for like only like 2 years. It felt like I was in it for 10 years because when you're young, 2 years seems like
so
forever.
long.
Yeah.
So long. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so 17 to 19, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are long ass years. Mm-hmm. Now they go.
Yeah, like
this is scary. But so after that band, what do you do?
I was in that band for a couple years. Around a year into that band, I started playing in an indie pop band called Sea Lions.
Okay.
With a close friend of mine, Adrian Pulado, who was a guy I knew around from. He went to my school for a couple of years, and I knew him from around the scene. Mm-hmm. He was in bands like before I was even going to punk shows. Like he's a couple years older than me, so he was always like a guy that was into like grindcore and like thrash and black metal and stuff when we were in high school. Like he had really like a taste that was kind of like
on the fringe.
Yeah. So we knew each other from around, but not super close. Anyway, I saw his band play like when I was 18 on Halloween at the Kenji Shack. You remember the Kenji Shack? Yeah.
Shout out Kenji.
Shout out Kenji. I saw Sea Lions play, and they didn't have a bass player. So I just hit them up like, yo, why don't you have a bass player? Mm-hmm. And they're like, you want to play? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I went, and he was like, yo, you're going to play guitar, not bass. I was like, okay. And then from there, I was 18, and I played in that band till I was like 26.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
did you guys do records?
Yeah, we had one record LP out on this label called Slumberland Records.
Okay.
From out of Oakland. It's like an indie pop label. But yeah, so around when I was 18, I was in FBA and Sea Lions.
Okay.
Stayed in Sea Lions for a few years. When I was 17 to 19. 19, I left Full Blown AIDS. But wanted to start a new band, like a punk band, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was in this point where I was like living in two worlds in a way, you know?
Yeah, the indie world and the punk world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The indie pop world, I was going to LA a lot. Because at the time, there was a kind of a big scene out there for that. So I was like 18-year-old kid from Oxnard going to LA, you know, and doing all these shows and shit. But then I was still in the punk scene in Oxnard.
Yeah.
You know, so it was kind of dope. Like, it was definitely like when I was in the indie pop world, people saw me as like, oh, this guy's wearing like a rudimentary P-Night shirt. Like, what the fuck? Like, so I was like seen as a little rough around the edges there. Uh-huh. And then in the punk scene, it was kind of like, you're a weenie, you know, you're in this weak ass band. Like, you guys just like, you know, back then it was like, if you were into indie music, they would call you gay and shit like that, you know. So I was kind of like dealing with these two worlds, and I started a band called El Mariachi. Okay. When I was like 20, with my friend Raul Villalobos. Okay. And it was a power violence band.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll show them.
Yeah. Yeah, take it to the extreme.
You guys think I'm soft.
You think I'm soft? Literally the genre is called power violence. And we started playing for a while. And it was really fun.
Yeah, did that band record?
Yeah, we at first we recorded like a shitty demo, like 3 songs in my I don't even remember how we recorded the first demo. I don't remember. Maybe like my friend Kellen Hancock might have. So he was there. No, because he was in the band later. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting. You know what? Over the years, like your memory starts.
It's hard, dude.
Yeah. So at first it was just a 2-piece, me and my friend Raul. Yeah. But then eventually we needed a bass player, so we had this guy Jake join the band, but he was in there only for a little bit. He had like some drug problems and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like. We let go of him, and then we brought in Kellen Hancock on bass, and he was like, yo, I know this guy Nick Omer, you know, and of course we all know Nick Omer from Heavy Artillery. For us, that's where we knew him from. Like that's like my youth, like seeing those fools play. They played too many shows. I used to say, like, we used to always say they're playing every weekend back then, like. But of course he stood out. I mean, he looked like John Lennon, you know, like. And he like ripped on the guitar. Yeah. So the idea of having him in the band was like, to me as a 19 or 20-year-old, I was like, it was like having a celebrity in the band, you know? So I was like, oh, hell yeah. So he joined, and we were a band for like 3 years. Okay.
Did you do a record?
We didn't do a record. We recorded like, we did a demo. And then we were on 2 compilations.
Oh, cool.
We're on a compilation, some like grindcore power violence compilation that actually got pressed on a 7-inch. But it was one of those weak ass things. Not weak, I guess that's fine. Like every band put in like $40 or $50 to be on it. That actually, I don't think that's an issue. That's pretty dope.
No, as long as you get records.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, we did. We got like a box of them.
Yeah, so that's totally fair. Yeah, they're just helping. Get the money put up. Yeah. It's hard, you know, because I'm doing the hardcore comp right now, and it's a lot of opinions, you know, to try to 25 bands. It's like rough, you know.
That's tough.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, there's no fucking money. Like how many ways you want to split it? Yeah. You know, it's like
people are asking for money.
There was one band that was like asking a shit ton of questions, so I had to boot them. So, but
It's easier to do that, right?
yeah, I mean, just doing the napkin math, it's like, okay, if he sells all of them at like distro price, it's like, what is there, $1,000 profit in like a run of 500? And so, what, you got 25 bands, so you got 100 members. You want to have everyone get paid $10, or do you want to have someone actually make a nut?
Yeah.
And maybe keep putting out records? Like, come on, you fucking freaks.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So, I mean, comps are exposure.
Yeah.
So, you just want to be able to have them, and
this is to be on one, like.
Yeah, and it's about documenting a scene.
Yeah.
Because last year, Nard was firing harder than it's maybe ever fired. This year is following up nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like there was a show last night, there's a show tonight, there's a show tomorrow night, there's a show on Sunday. It's like 4 nights in a row. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see the young crowds too, like doing their thing. Like that's really inspiring to me.
Yeah, and just putting on shows wherever.
Yeah.
So cool. And kind of taking the approach that you were saying with heavy artillery that I never had the balls to do. I was always like very particular about like spreading out shows because I didn't want people to get burned out on my bands, and it's like Civil Conflict can play like 3 times a week.
And people were always going.
Yeah, it's so rad. Like, I mean, I just think that's like, it's a sick way to approach things, to like not worry about it and just want to get out there and rock.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for just doing it for the love.
Definitely.
Instead of being like calculating, like, well, we shouldn't play more than once every 5 weeks in the same area. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I have to do. I can't play as much as I get asked to play, like, I have like management and stuff now, so I have to like, be a little more sparse with when I play. But I think it's for me, it's like, it makes it more special when I do get to play. Like,
sure.
Especially in Oxnard, like.
Sure.
But I do like, it does like, I do feel bad. I'm like, I do wish I could like do a show like anytime, like at the, like, oh yeah, I'll play your show in your backyard. Like, I'm down. Yeah. But like ultimately, like, I can't, but. Yeah. I'll go. I always go to like all these shows. Like, I love, like I said, it's super inspiring to me, and like, it's something that I've always done, going to shows. So I'm like, why would I not keep going?
Yeah, but your DJ doesn't live here, does he?
Well, I have a band in Europe.
Okay.
And I had a band in the U.S. 2 different bands, like live bands.
Okay.
But that shit's mad expensive to pay like a whole band,
Yeah, to pay a bunch of hired guns.
Yeah. So
what was like what I saw? It was you and a DJ.
Yeah, dude. That's my homie Zilla. He's actually from Oxnard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
Sometimes I do it with a DJ. Sometimes I'll do a solo by myself. On that trip, it was dope because I got paid a little bit on that tour, so I could like pay my homie, like give him some money too, and then also like have him there with me and having fun and enjoying it and like, helping enhance my show. So it was dope.
Yeah, but doing a whole band, that's crazy. That is a lot.
Yeah, and then it's a lot. But then once we get like I just did a show in London, and that was like, it was hot. It was really good. Yeah. Like and then I just get reminded of how having a live band is like takes it to the next level,
Yeah, a lot of like the last time I saw Nas, he had a live drummer.
Wow.
There was like, it was pretty cool because he was like I don't know, he acted kind of like how the DJ does, like, finishing some lines and stuff, but then on some songs he could just do like, I don't know, he's adding a little bit of sizzle, and then some he's playing like the drums, and there's nothing like live music, I think that seeing a lot of hip-hop live is not the best. Or just music that's like you're listening to a recording. Yeah. There's something missing. Yeah. A little bit.
The performer has to really give it to the audience if it's like you have to make up for it. That's what I do. I try to make up for like when I have solo. If I don't have my band, like I try to make up for it by like, being that much more like present, I guess, and like attentive to the crowd and being like, I don't know. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the one that always stood out that I thought like didn't suffer from it was Moral Technique. He was
Okay,
always
yeah.
like super good live because he was so engaging. You know, it's kind of like what you're saying. Like you just get more. You got to be more engaged if you don't have all the bells and whistles of a band.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And like, yeah, if people are there to see you. You give them you, you know.
yeah, that's all you could do, right?
And like I did that show at the Performing Arts Center. Mm-hmm. That was last year. That shit popped off. It was dope.
With you and Civil Conflict.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was like, that's when I was like really. I mean, I was really proud. I mean, I'm always proud to be from Oxnard, but that just like solidified it and reminded me just like. I mean, it just reminded me of I guess the support that I have, like, and that people actually like are super pumped on the music and like, you know, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I heard it was legendary. I wasn't there, but I heard like when Civil Conflict played, it was like everyone in the pit, like grandmas and fucking everything. And then
yeah.
like when you were playing, like everyone was dancing. Like
Yeah.
didn't matter who you were. Doesn't matter if you know how to dance or not. You're just feeling it and rolling with it.
Yeah, it was like it was really cool because you know, going to punk shows my whole like since I was young, and also going to like some local like rap shows or whatever, going to indie pop shows or whatever. Like that show was like people from all different like scenes and shit, you know,
Yeah.
like all together in one place, different age ranges too, and like that's what I love to see. You know?
Yeah. You want to see a mix. You know?
I feel like there was a time when I was probably in high school where like the scenes were all super divided, and it really, I guess there's two things that like make it that it's not like that anymore. I think one is probably the internet, you know, like the access to music and like,
Everyone has everything.
and yeah, and culture too is like kind of like it's a little more progressive. Things are a little more progressive now as far as like socially, like, you know, and I also think it has to do with like the young kids in the scene, you know. They're from this new generation that doesn't give a fuck about like the labels of like, oh, you're a punk or you're a hardcore kid or you're like goth
Or
you're,
going into the super stuff like I'm a grindcore kid
Yeah,
or I'm into death rock or like
Yeah.
all these like super subgenres.
Yeah, and it's like even when there are kids who are like about that, it doesn't stop them from going to like a punk show or going to like whatever, you know. So that's really that's something I like that I'm
Yeah.
pumped on.
Yeah. I think it's just everyone has access to everything now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's like not everything is as exclusive as it used to be. So, you know, you'd have your own cliques of these different scenes, and it's because music was not as accessible. So, like,
Very true.
and also you had to pay for everything. Like, so you have a finite amount of stuff you can afford and
That's
buy.
so true,
And then
yeah.
you're sharing in your group, you know, it's like, well, I'll get this tape and you get that tape and we'll tape them for each other and this and that. And you have these pockets. And now everyone can just get a $9 Spotify account
That's true.
or whatever and just have every record
Endless.
collection. So I can listen to like Joni Mitchell and then Slayer and then,
Yeah.
you know, Amoebics and then
Crazy.
like anything. So it's like there's no like you and your boys like you got the lock on the grindcore because now I can find all the grindcore.
You
You
literally
know,
just type in grindcore and
I
like you
know.
can find it all.
10 best grindcore tracks and like there's a YouTube playlist,
Compilation
you know?
and shit.
Yeah. So nothing's is exclusive, and so I think that you know a lot of the subgenres of punk, it is like elitist, you know, and like it's people trying to protect something and hold it
Yeah.
to themselves, and now it's like anyone can listen to it and be like, I kind of like it too.
Yeah.
Like then you have something in common, and the kids now, it's like they're maybe a generation past of when everyone has had access to everything. So like labels don't fucking matter at all.
Yeah, completely.
You know, it's just liking what's good.
Yeah,
You know,
it's dope.
Yeah.
I think like I would say I'm probably guilty of being 16 and being like, no, you don't. This is my shit. You know, like
of course.
But like that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the band bands want to build their audience. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't do anything for the individual. What does it do for you to like hoard music? So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah. So when do you start wanting to write like more infectious music and like kind of what you're doing now?
Well, so I was in Sea Lions primarily,
And were you songwriting at all in that band?
No, not at all. I just played guitar. I played guitar on the LP. Mm-hmm. But it was mostly stuff that was written by the main singer songwriter.
Okay.
So, but I was learning from him as he was doing his thing. I was watching and learning, thinking like, at one point I always thought like, okay, I was writing these punk songs, like thrashcore songs or whatever. But I thought writing a pop song, that's magic. I thought at one point like, I can never do that. You know, like this person, has the magic touch. Like, there's no way I could ever do that. And then at some point I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna try.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna try. I had my laptop at home, Audacity, the program, and
that's what I use.
Nice. And I just like started fucking around. Like, I downloaded like a cracked version of FL Studio.
Okay.
Just started making like shitty drum patterns, and then like writing songs, like shitty ass songs on acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
With like acoustic guitar that pitched down to sound like a bass.
Okay.
Really bass parts, like really, that's how it started. And it was always kind of like really pop structured. Even the early stuff, it was always like, verse, chorus, verse, bridge.
And it's still guitar music. You're still playing a guitar.
At that point, yeah, it was still guitar, bass, fake bass, I mean, and then like drum machine and vocals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was more like indie pop, post-punky kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But with a very like infectious kind of style, I think still.
Yeah.
Aiming for that.
So when do you write like the first hook that you think is gold?
I don't know. I think I was always like hyped on my own music. I think everybody is when they do their own music, to a degree. But I think there was a point where I just wanted to make like funky music, like disco-y or like 70s pop type stuff. But I couldn't because I didn't have the like knowledge of like strong structure or chords or really like instrument, like ability as like a musician. I didn't really, or the production quality or anything, or production know-how or anything.
Sure.
So I was just trying to do what I was just like trying. Just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to fucking do it. But with the main focus being whatever the song sounds like production-wise, at the core of it is like, I want to write a really good song each time. Because that's how I feel. I feel like no matter what the production is like on a song, if it sounds like shit, or if like it's like gold production, like dope shit, it doesn't matter if the song at the core of it is like a good song.
Yeah. So,
yeah, there's early songs that were Cola Boyy songs that aren't released that I think were like, I was like, oh, that's like
pretty good.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. What year is that?
This is probably 2015.
Okay, so about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was right about to be going through a breakup too. Mm-hmm. So once I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, I had a lot of time to myself,
Yeah, and you need to like project it somewhere semi-positive.
Yeah, definitely.
And stay busy.
Yeah, and I think the couple years prior, like my early 20s, leading up to my mid 20s, again I was in Sea Lions. We did some traveling and stuff. We went to like Japan and London, England, and like so I had a bit of like experience as far as touring and stuff under my belt, and kind of like learning as I went along by watching others.
Okay.
So by the time I was 25, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna do this shit myself. Like I can do this shit. Like so I just tried, and I started putting up the music on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And I did a couple shows. Performed solo. I had my friend who was from Sea Lions, my friend Adrian, do Drum Machine live.
Okay.
I did like my friend's birthday party.
And like, so he hooks in through the PA, and then you're hooked in the PA? Or what are you doing?
It was a crappy ass setup. It was like the drum machine through like plugged into a bass amp.
Okay.
And then like my laptop. No, at that point I had what are they called? Sampler
Okay.
with my songs up. My demo, they were just demos at the time.
Yeah.
Uploaded to it, and I would just like push the button,
Yeah, and
sing. So, and like my sampler would be plugged into a guitar amp,
Yeah.
a twin reverb.
Yeah.
Sounded like shit, but it was what it was all I had.
But okay, so those first two shows, can people tell there's something there? Are you getting good feedback?
Yeah, actually, there was like not much people at the shows, but like people were really about it, you know. But one of the first shows we did was at my friend's backyard.
Okay.
My friend Roman, who's the brother of Sias. Do you know Sias?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, like it was in El Rio.
Shout out Sias, though.
Shout out Sias.
Let's be friends, man.
Sias Gonzalez. It was in their backyard. I knew that it was dope, or that I had something, because Roman's parents were like, "Yo," like, "Oh wow, that was really." They really liked the songs, you know.
Yeah.
We've been practicing with Sea Lions there for a couple years, and they were like, "Oh," they usually don't really talk to us about stuff. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, cool, it sounds dope," like, but they were like all about it. And so you know when like the adults are vibing it.
Yeah.
I think that's like a sign that when people your age and adults can kind of get into it. Not adults. I was an adult at the time, but you know,
Yeah. No,
older
yeah.
people. Older
Well, and
generation.
you're taking a stab at a style of music that's older too.
Yeah, I think like doing that and also adding some like contemporary vibe to it, you know, some modernity to it. And so I think from there, and then I did a show in LA, small show. And some dudes came up after and were like, "Yo, man, that was awesome. It reminds me of Arthur Russell," which is like an artist that's a big influence of mine, you know. That hyped me up. It's funny, that same show, this is a classic. So like I went to that show with my friend Adrian, who played drum machine for me. I went with him, his girlfriend at the time, and my other homie. And we were performing. Me and Adrian were performing, and my homie and Adrian's ex-girlfriend were standing together, and his ex-girlfriend's like, "So what do you think of like Matt's music?" to him, and he's like, "Oh, it's fucking dope. Like I support it 100%. Like this is one of my homies. Like, of course he's gonna see that." And he's like, "What about you?" She's like, "I don't know. There's just not really a market for this kind of thing." and like that shit like drove me insane back then, you know.
Of course.
Because I was like, "Yo, market. Like, what? For one, what the fuck do you know about a market?
Yeah.
Two, who gives a fuck?"
Yeah, and you're trying to walk before you run.
Exactly.
You're just trying to hone in a sound and play some shows.
Exactly.
You know?
And the nerve, I guess, I don't care now. Now I just laugh about it. But at the time I was like, the nerve of somebody to like, say this to my friend, like not thinking that he would like, yo,
Yeah.
like tell me some shit about that.
Yeah, and also like there's a lot of audacity to like assume how is like she's questioning the merit of it because there might not be mass appeal.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, have you ever just heard of art?
Yeah.
You know, like
music, just think of music.
yeah, or any sort of expression. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like some girls they're really popular now. Like they go to like those. It's like an event where you just like paint and drink wine. It's like therapeutic for people. You know, it's like
Oh yeah, my parents have been in that before.
yeah, and it's like they're not going to do anything with that art, but you can hang it on your wall. It's something you did. You created something.
Yeah.
You don't need to market it. You're not going to sell your art on Etsy.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like we didn't invite her to that show so that she could like give us a fucking an evaluation, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a funny moment where
But it gave you a little fire.
yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at that point, yeah, I was going under a different name at the time too.
Okay. What were you going under?
I was like, I called myself Vox, like Vox, Disco. It's a horrible name. I think I just like the word Vox because Vox amps are cool and like it's a cool name.
There was a band called Vox Pop that was on Mystic Records.
Oh wow, yeah, I remember.
Has a
that
naked
name.
dude on the cover.
Wow, like a real naked dude or a drawing
Yeah.
one?
No, they're showing like, real penis.
Jesus
It's there.
Christ.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I heard the name, but I never saw that cover.
Yeah. It's like it's dudes that are in some other band. I can't remember what. But anyway, so how do you come up with the name Cola Boy?
I was just really into drinking soda.
Yeah, that's your thing.
And
Well, I apologize for drinking an iced tea in front of
no,
you.
it's all good.
I don't want any beef, bud.
No, like yeah, I was drinking a lot of soda, and I think I just had my Instagram name as Cola Boy.
Okay.
And that was my Instagram name just because I wasn't doing like, I didn't have like a music career or nothing really. I was just like playing in bands and stuff, so it was just like my name on there. And then I was spending a lot of time in New York
Okay.
because I have some friends out there. This guy Juan Waters, he's a musician out there. He's amazing. I was playing in his band, so I was spending a lot of time out there.
And what was that?
His name is, he goes by Juan Waters.
Oh, and so you're playing as a...
It's like like I play guitar in his band.
Okay.
And we did some tours. I did like a European tour with him and like a U.S. tour, a couple U.S. tours. There were some shows happening in New York that I jumped on, and it was like, oh, what are we gonna put my name as on the flyer?
Yeah.
And they were like, yo, you gotta be Cola Boy. And him and my other homie Matt Voles, they were like, yo, you're Cola Boy. And I was like, I don't know, like, because there's another band called Cola Boy as well, you know,
Okay.
from like the 90s who had like one EP.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know, there's already a band named Cola Boy. They're like, who gives a fuck? Like,
Let's just add a Y. Fool.
yeah, exactly. They're like, and I was like, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go by my real name, Matthew Urango. Just go by my full name. And they're like, that's whack. And they like, without even my choice, they put my name as Cola Boy on the flyer.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then so I was like, all right, fuck it. And then from then on, like they started introducing me to people as Cola Boy, and then it just became my name.
Yeah. And how do you hook up with the European label and doing your first recordings like that?
I would say this might have been 2016, 2017, 2016, end of 2016. I was playing a show in LA at some DIY spot. I don't remember. And it was funny because like I was there with some of my homies from Oxnard. We were just posted up, and I think a month prior to that, the Record Makers, which is a label I'm on, followed me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this like label?
Yeah.
Checked them out. They have like Kavinsky, who's like a pretty known like electronic artist. He did like the music from Drive. Like he's really famous for one of the songs from Drive. And like Sebastien Tellier is a really famous like French artist as well. I was like, oh, it seems like a cool label. And so I messaged them like when they added me. I was like, hey, what's up? Like, you have a cool roster. Like maybe we should do a record together. They didn't respond. They didn't say shit. And I was like, oh, whatever. Shot my shot, you know.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was really looking to find a label. At that moment in time, I was sending out emails to all kinds of record labels because I was in the mind space like, I'm going to get on a label. I think I can do this.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward back to the month later, I'm at the show in LA. And like, my boss, I call him my boss. He's like the record label owner, right? He doesn't like when I call him my boss, but anyway. The record label owner, Mark, him and Sebastien Tellier, who's super recognizable, they just walk up out of nowhere at my show in LA with this other guy, John Kirby, who's an amazing synth player, keyboard player. They walk up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and Mark is like, hey, Matthew, nice to meet you. I'm Mark, like, I'm from the Record Makers, this label. And I'm like, oh, what's up? Yeah, you follow me on Instagram, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you never wrote me back, motherfucker.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, we're here because Sebastian's recording a record, and it just happens that we're staying right down the street from the show. Like, he just happened to be like a 10-minute drive from like where, or actually not even a 10-minute drive, like walking distance from where I was playing.
Sick.
And he was only there in LA for 1 week.
Okay.
Like, so it just happened to be perfect timing.
Yeah.
So he's like, I just wanted to come and check out your show. And I was like, cool. So I performed. There was literally 12 people at my show.
Yeah.
There was like nobody there. But I ripped a set and like solo, And he was like, he was into it, And then after the show, he's like, so we should do a record. Would you want to do a record? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, what the fuck? And he said, he said, "Okay, what do you want? What do you see yourself doing with your music? Like, would you want to tour and do this and that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down to do all that." It's like, cool. He's like, "All right, well, email me all your demos tomorrow,
Okay.
and we'll start talking." I was like, "All right." I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
hyped." But I said I had like 40 demos at that point, like 40 songs. So I sent them all the next day. Yeah, it was history from there.
Yeah. And that's something I'm like confused by. I don't understand how music works anymore. Like, because you don't have that much output. Like, how many songs are actually out there? It's like not enough, right? Like, you got,
Yeah,
there's like 6 songs I can find.
Yeah, I have like the EP, which was 5 songs.
Yeah.
Then I have All Power to the People, which is 6.
Right.
Then I have like the other songs that are just collaborations.
Yeah. And then why is there no urgency for them to like do physical format when you put out like All Power to the People? Like, can't they just put that out as a 45? Like, why is it so fucking hard?
Yeah, I know. Maybe if they listen, maybe they'll listen to this and decide to do it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you put out a song that's that dope, it's like, I want it.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, just put it on a 45. You can do like old school style, like monotone stereo.
Yeah.
Or whatever, big whole cut. You don't even have to have like a cover.
That's true.
But I want something physical, and it's like, I don't know. It's just weird to put out like a song into the ether. But I guess that's just how it is now, right?
Yeah, it's more. It's because for that it was more like because there was already a lot of time between the EP and that, and then between the EP and my album, there's a lot of time in between. So it just added. It's like having something in the middle that's like to get the people like get people's attention again.
Yeah.
You know, just something to throw out there. You know, and like. But yeah, maybe sometime there's always time to do a 7-inch. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, like that the song just needs to come out. It doesn't have to be attached to anything else.
Yeah.
So, hey, you got what is it, record makers?
Yeah.
You got to do it, dude, or I'm gonna bootleg it. You got to bootleg it. You're gonna end up with Cola Boy on a Retaliate split. It's just gonna be dirty.
Damn.
No, I just want it. That song fucking rips.
Oh, thank you.
You know, and then I don't know. It's like I like to listen to music on my record player at home.
Yeah.
That's like when I connect to it the most, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's psycho. Like that you want to have a physical format. Like my favorite records, I want to have them, and I want them to be forever.
Yeah.
And I want it to be mine. You know, like not just listening to a digital song.
Yeah.
A little weird. But that's a whole like thing now, right? Like people can be famous off uploading stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And have nothing physical come out.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the majority of people just stream music. But there's definitely a big demographic of people who buy vinyl.
Yeah. And you can do low runs. You know?
Yeah.
Do you know how many were pressed of the LP?
I don't know, maybe like 1,000.
Yeah.
Maybe less. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I shot myself in the foot on that one because I think I bought one record and I bought like 4 digital copies.
Oh shit.
I've sent them to my friends, man. I loved it. Like,
Cool.
It's just
Thank
cool.
you.
Like I'm rooting for the Nard, you know?
Hell yeah.
And then like you have a lot of friends in your life that aren't into punk rock and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like fun when it's like something that they can like.
Yeah.
You know? It's like this is sick.
Yeah, it makes me happy that like people with all the different music tastes like vibe with my music. Makes me happy. Like the punks and stuff too that I still know. You know, they're super supportive. Some of them don't. Some of them don't like them. One of my homies is like, you know, I don't really like that shit, but like, I still support you. Like props.
Yeah.
Which is like I respect the honesty, and it's like really funny to me. Like I'm like that's cool, but most people, yeah, they're like. Super supportive and into it, so it makes me happy.
Yeah, I brought my friend when we went and saw you, Paola, to your show because like you were playing the same night as Agnostic Front.
Okay.
And so
I remember you told me that.
Yeah, but Agnostic Front like is playing like later bar shows. So I was like, oh, sick, we can go to both. And Paola brought me to see Mana. And so I went and saw Mana. It was fun, and I was like, I gotta get you back. So we'll go to Cola Boy, then we'll go to Agnostic Front. It was like that was such a fun like
2 different
switch.
worlds.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And that's like 3 different worlds if you want to like add in like me going to Mana.
That's true.
So.
And I don't know if you stayed for after I played Devendra Banhart.
No, we had to go to CAF.
He's very like soft music, you know.
Yes.
So it's like that's like super. That itself is super different than my music, even, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's more down tempo.
Yeah, like acoustic kind of.
Yeah. No, I Googled it because I was like, That's gonna be some shit. You have to make sure that he's not gonna be my next my next favorite musician.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, I was actually at a show and didn't watch him.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
so I had to listen to a couple tracks and be like, I don't think I'll ever fall in love with this. You know?
Yeah.
So then it was okay. Even though I like that kind of music, but anyway.
Yeah.
So what's coming next, dude? You can do a full length.
Yeah, working on that right now. It's close to being done.
What is your songwriting process?
Well, see, right now I'm trying to get back into being more disciplined and like sitting down in my room and really like working on my music like I used to. You know, I used to spend days and days and days just like writing and recording and stuff. So I'm trying to get back into that. But my process is basically like I have a piano now, so I do a lot of writing on my piano.
Okay.
So I just sit at the piano, you
And
know,
play and sing, hum?
yeah, just like more like sing like nonsense melodies, you know, like or even just like ad lib words that you know, like off the top of my head, and playing different chords and different stuff, and yeah, just come up with shit like that. I used to kind of sometimes I'll do it that way, or I'll do it like if I'm at my laptop, I'll like come up with I'll just like set the tempo, or whatever, come up with some stuff on the synth. I don't really write with guitar much anymore, mostly synth and piano, and like add drums. You know, I used to start with drums, but now I don't do that much anymore. But yeah, writing a song, coming up with a demo, sending it to my label,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah or nah. They're like, this is dope, or this is like, you could do a little more work. They always like my stuff, but it's always like, it's either like, this is really good, let's like move into like really working on the song, or let's work on it some more, or like, you know, kind of things.
So if they like something, then what filter does the song get put through?
Well, if they, I mean,
Is it just getting put into a bucket that it's like, okay, now we're going to do this in a pro studio later? Or
yeah,
or,
kind of. No, I mean, it's kind of like, no, at this point, it's kind of like a forever, like ongoing process of like being in a, like writing when I'm home, and then like, or if I'm in Paris, so the label's in Paris. If I'm in Paris too, I'll bring my laptop and a little interface and like record where I'm staying, you know? So like, just recording demos. They want me to be recording like demos perpetually, like consistently. And then yeah, they like it. It's like, oh yeah, maybe you should. We'll be like, they'll have an idea like, oh, there's this producer, like maybe you could work with this person to work on the song. And then I'll be like, or I'll be like, yeah, I'm down. And then like they'll coordinate like me doing that, you know.
Yeah.
Usually the process these days.
We got to get you with DJ Premier.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really like this new record I'm doing. There's like a bunch of guest producers on it, like
Sick.
a bunch, and it's gonna be fucking cool. I think it's a cool record.
Yeah.
It's very eclectic too.
Nice.
Yeah, like the EP is kind of eclectic. Would you say?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it's not long enough to take someone on a journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's more like here's different types of bangers.
Yeah.
You know, where like if you LP take people on a journey.
Yeah.
You know, then the sequencing matters more and all that. So
yeah, right now I'm working on doing some skits.
okay.
For it.
Don't go too skit heavy, dude.
No, not like some power balance type shit. You know? They have too many skits, but like an intro and an outro type
Sure.
shit, you know?
Sure.
Just to kind of like...
Give some personality.
Yeah. Make it... But all the songs from the record, I mean, I wrote them within the last 5... It's like a span of 5 years of like different songs, you know?
Yeah.
So like, it's funny because... And I've been recording the record for like 2 years. Almost 2 years. And it's funny because some of the lyrics is like, damn, this is not even how I think anymore. Like, like some of this stuff, sometimes I'm like, oh man, I need to change that lyric up because that is not how I feel anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like life, it's crazy when you write a song that really encapsulates like this idea you had or these like feelings you had at one point. And it really puts into perspective like how things change and how you grow, you know, as time goes on. Even
Yeah, that is interesting. Like, do you think that you'll change the lines, or do you want to just like basically have that song be like that was a stamp of time when it was written and that needs to be preserved?
yeah, I mean, certain points there's nothing I can do. I have to let it go.
Well, yeah, if it's already submitted, right?
Yeah. And that's fine. I understand. It's like, yeah, it's a point in time, you know, like all power to the people. There's some things I say in that song that are like, I don't agree with now. And not that I don't agree with. It's just that, yeah, I just have my political views have progressed since then.
So like what?
Well, mainly like the phrase "all power to the people" in itself, it's too vague. It isn't like, because like people is like, who are the people? I mean, like, that's not, the world doesn't work with just people. It's like there's working class and there's like bourgeoisie, you know, like it's not, so like saying all power to the people, I don't mean like all power to like all people. Like it needs to be more. It's too vague, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Isn't it? It's implied that when you say the people, it's like the majority. The like it's, and which is generally also implied that it's like the oppressed masses. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
You would hope. I would hope so. I think the working class do understand that, but I also think that like maybe even like bourgeois, or even like couldn't like would sing along to it, not realizing like, motherfucker, I ain't talking about you, you know?
Yeah.
So that's something that I always want to be like pretty paint as much a detailed a picture as I can. I guess that's just what I'm learning, because I've already seen like with my music and lyrics, or not just, maybe sometimes interviews even, or like I've gotten like misinterpreted, you know. So just learning how to not get misinterpreted.
You got to keep the hook, dude. The hook is ill. You can just paint the picture more on the verses. That's why you got to get specific, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, all power to
you bougie
fine.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about you.
Yeah, I guess like, I think with that song it's fine. It's already passed, but like as far as things go, yeah. I mean, we're all progressing and learning as we get older, you know. So
no, it's hard looking back on lyrics. I mean, Stu, who does the pod with me sometimes, he's putting out a comp of all the Narco stuff from the 90s. And I got a few bands on there, and it's funny because like, so I was in this band called Against All Odds like in 96, and I have a lyric that goes, 1,000 people die on a jet. And it's like,
what does that mean?
well, there's too many fucking people. You can't fit that many on a jet.
That's true. Huh?
It's like, because the line's all, 1,000 people die on a jet, but marijuana hasn't killed one person yet.
Wow.
It's like there's no 1,000 people on a jet. Yeah, but it's just like getting something that wrong. Like, where's a jet that was 16? And it's like,
it's okay. It's 16.
I know, but it's pre-internet. So it's like, I don't know how many people are on a fucking jet.
Isn't it technically a jet? Like a real jet is like 2 people, no?
Probably. But I was just thinking like how many people are on a 747?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I still couldn't tell you. It
Yeah,
was probably like
either.
300 or something, or 500.
So. I have some songs that talk about like planes and stuff too, like jet planes and shit. Like, I love using that word, jet plane.
Yeah, dude. Shout out John Denver. You know?
He has a song.
Yeah, I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Don't know when I'll be back again. And then he fucking died in an airplane accident.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, I fucking hate airplanes, man.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan, but they do get you there.
They do.
You want to go by boat?
You have to go.
You want to go by boat?
No. Everybody's getting fucking coronavirus on that fucking boats and shit. Like,
no shit, dude.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I hate airplanes. I hate like I'm getting used to it. 11-hour flight to Paris. Like,
yeah.
I go like 4 times a year, and I'm getting used to it finally. Like 11 hours now seems more like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
It feels like that now.
Yeah. I went to India once, and I think it was a 14-hour flight from New Jersey. That was Burley.
Fuck that.
So you're already 6 hours in New Jersey, and then another 14.
Whoa, what the? So 20 hours?
It's brutal. Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
That's why I'm dreading going to Australia.
Yeah.
Like, I hear like, I mean, I don't have plans to go yet, but I imagine at some point I'll go. And I hear the flight there is like 24 hours or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, but treat yourself and stop in Hawaii on the way. You know?
I've never been to Hawaii before, actually.
Yeah, so you should do Hawaii, and then you do Australia, and then you do New Zealand, and you kind of enjoy yourself out there.
Have some stop-offs. So
yeah, go to Tahiti, you know?
Dude, I just, speaking of Tahiti, the plane I took on the way back this last time was Tahiti Air. Oh, the plane I took to Paris was Tahiti Air.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, the food is pretty bomb. I really hate airplane food. It all smells the same. it all has this exact like
Well, it's all in the same bag.
hospital food smell.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. But like the food was decent. But the thing that I felt was so fucked up. So you know they have the in-flight movies, you know.
Sure.
Like three. Okay, they had one like a bunch of documentaries on Tahiti, which was basically about like resort tourism and shit, and it was fucked up because it's like obviously Tahiti was like colonized as shit.
Yeah.
But then one of the two of the classic movies they had was this movie called what's it called? It's with like Anthony Hopkins and like Mel Gibson, and it's basically like these British like sailors like go on an exploration on a ship to like Tahiti. And it's like they basically like it's like crazy fucked up like, and the way the Tahitians are portrayed is like fucking. I mean, actually, I don't know how accurate it was. I'm pretty sure it was a dramatization and really fucked up. But it's like, why would you have this like colonial ass movie like on a Tahitian flight? Like, it's so weird to me. You know? Yeah,
It was weird.
Yeah. They had two versions of the same movie.
What?
They had that Anthony Hopkins version, and then they had the one from like the 50s with Marlon Brando.
Jesus.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the Anthony Hopkins one because I just couldn't stop watching, and I was like, this movie's fucking insane.
It was that bad?
It was
Like what, they put like a bone through their nose? Like they like cannibals and shit?
They made them come out. They basically made like Tahitian natives out to be like just like sexual, as like hypersexual. Like all the women were just like fawning over the British dudes, and like they were all like, it was just like sexualizing them all crazy tough. It was just weird, but
maybe the Tahitian women like to fuck.
I don't
Respect.
know. I actually have no idea about that culture, so maybe it was accurate, but I have a feeling it was not. But there's 11 hours on a flight. You have a lot of time to watch. I watch like 5 movies every time. I can't sleep on the plane.
Yeah.
So I just watch movies. I watch like 5 movies a flight.
You don't want to take a pill?
I tried. I've done like I did like, what is it, like melatonin?
Yeah, but that's like
Weak shit, right?
Yeah, that's like a vitamin.
Okay.
But that did work for me once. I had a buddy tell me I had a bad breakup, and I asked him, I was like, I'm having trouble sleeping, and he's like, I just take a melatonin 30 minutes before bed every night, and I did that, and it helped. But I think it's like that's natural. I'm talking about you can get like an over the counter or a prescribed one that'll like knock you out for like 8 hours,
like Vicodin or something.
Well, I think that's a painkiller. I don't know, some sort of like, but a Vicodin level like sleeping pill. You know, I just worry I wouldn't wake up.
Like codeine or something.
Maybe it's something like that.
I've done it before, and honestly, none of that shit ever worked for me.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I've taken pills in the past, like recreationally for fun, and that shit fucks me up. But like on the plane, I just couldn't sleep. I think it has to do with like, because I have bad breathing. I have breathing problems, so like it becomes harder for me to breathe when I'm in the air. So I think that like
it's a weird recycled air.
Yeah, it must be, and like it contributes to like, I think that's what partially contributes to me not being able to sleep. But I used to just get fucked up on the plane, like drink mad like booze.
Yeah, that's the move.
Yeah, but I stopped drinking, so now I just like, I'm fucked. I just like stay up and watch like five movies, which is like 2 of them are really good and 3 of them are just fucking complete garbage. You know?
You can watch on your laptop though, right? So you can like curate the movie. You don't gotta
I've
end
done
up
that
watching.
once, yeah.
You don't gotta end up watching 2 versions of the same Tahitian movie.
Yeah, I one time I did that. I downloaded a few movies, like Buffalo 66 is a Vincent Gallo movie I like. I watched that, and then like Rush Hour 2, which is like, you know, Rush Hour.
Very
2?
easy to watch.
Yeah, that's like, honestly, I've always said this, like, that's my favorite movie is Rush Hour 2. Like, I mean, despite the fact that it's a cop movie and I'm not a fan of cops, like, I love Chris Tucker, you know? And Jackie Chan is the shit.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, my favorite TV show of all time is NYPD Blue. It's a cop show.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I know of it.
It's dated. It's like, because it's like 1990 to 98 or some shit. Just New York fake precinct.
Okay.
You know?
You know what's the shit is The Wire. Have you ever seen The Wire?
Yeah, The Wire is brilliant. I mean, that might be one of the best shows ever.
Yeah.
You know? NYPD Blue is a little more of a normal show.
Just something you just pop on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, it still has like a little bit of an overarching, but like you can watch an episode and be satisfied. But I miss like real people being like actors. Like Andy Sipowicz, the main character. I'll show you a photo of him. Like he's not a handsome man by any stretch. And now it's like every television show, everyone looks fucking perfect. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it's like unbelievable.
Yeah,
So-
I think I read something. Somebody told me something the other day about like there's like this ideal. Maybe this is a little off topic, but there's like an ideal look
Okay.
that's like right now of beauty that's seen, and it's a combination of like various features from different nationalities, you know.
Okay.
And that's what like a lot of like celebrity women specifically are like some, not a lot, but some of them are like going for with like, I don't know, maybe this is outrageous, but it's like the eyes of like I don't remember. It was like the eyes of something, the lips of like black people.
Yeah, so we're
You
gonna
know,
Mr.
like,
Potato Head
African,
each
you know.
other.
Yeah, like basically like, and like the nose of like it was like some country in the Middle East. And it was like some whole like thing, and like I guess the Kardashians are like,
Oh, that's what they're going for.
it's the big thing, you know. They're trying to get like you know, like all these different features, you know, of different nationalities. So,
Well, that's Andy Sipowicz.
oh, that guy's fucking
Yeah.
he's
not a traditionally handsome man,
you know, he looks.
but a great actor. And that's so much better.
Didn't he dress up like a baby at one point? And
I
like
don't think so.
there was like a dancing baby thing, and like you remember the dancing baby back in the 90s, right? The
No.
virtual like picture of like a baby that was like dancing.
Oh, yes.
I remember. I don't think he actually dressed up as it, but I think somebody like must have put his head
Photoshopped him or something.
on it, and it was like an old viral
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but. Yeah, beauty standards on TV are fucking weird. But at the same time, nowadays it's this like woke culture now. There's all this talk about like representation, you know. So we're actually seeing a lot of like not the conventional like looking people on TV and shit, you know. And you know, people try to use me for that, not on TV obviously, but like in like medias and stuff as like because I'm disabled, you know. And, like,
Okay.
but honestly, I think all that representation shit is fucking bullshit.
You think so? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine because, you know, I'm white. So I've watched white people on TV my whole
Yeah.
life. So I can't imagine what it would be like to have never seen a white person on TV and then like get to see one.
I guess for me to put into more context, I guess rather than just saying it's bullshit, it's more like, okay, so what if there's a disabled person on the TV? So what if like a disabled person wins like a fucking Academy Award? Like
Yeah, well,
that doesn't do anything for like the mass majority of disabled people in the world who are dealing with fucked up like experiences, or like same with like black people. Like the majority of black people in America are dealing with horrible conditions and oppression, you know, and like just because there's like some black celebrities or like black bourgeoisie doesn't mean shit. Like that don't mean shit for like all these people, you know. So that's why for me it's like people paint this as progressive and progression, but like until the conditions in real life, like for the masses change, that's what matters to me, not like me being on TV or some shit. You know?
Sure.
That's just how I see it.
No, I would agree with that for sure. Especially like award stuff, you want to be merit based.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, like, and ultimately, like a lot of I don't know. It's actually a long. It's a big subject to actually go into though, but I would say yeah, like in seeing like media and seeing like the lack of representation, quote unquote, of certain people, people think that like, oh, okay, well then we'll have representation on the TV and that's like the fix, or like, but like it's not getting to the root of the issue. You know, the root of the issue is like white supremacy or racism, you know, I think. But at the basis of that, it's capitalism, which like uses like race to divide like the working class, you know, and like so instead of like, I think people have the tendency to want to shave off the problems that are at the top, which are the easiest things to like make quick fixes to. But at the root of the problem is the real basis of the problem is what people are not like really looking at, you know.
I think that like we're from such a multicultural area that it's hard for us to understand like there's spots in the country where they do need to be softened to certain things by just seeing it and having it be normalized. So like I think a lot about like how I mean everyone here in Southern California is pretty cool with everyone being gay now, right? Like there's no I don't know, I don't feel like homophobia is an issue like it was.
I mean, I'm sure it still exists. It definitely
It's a
still
lot
exists.
better. Let's say it's a lot better, right? And I think that's like a lot of softening of like generationally, us seeing it on television and so forth that it gets like normalized even if you don't know anyone in your real life, you see like these are normal people, right? They're normal people like anyone. And so there's no like stigma against them, and that's generations of like, watching The Real World or whatever on MTV and it's 20 years later and it's like now everyone is a little more woke to the stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think, I guess I'd also say we have to look at the statistics too, like, which I'm not quite sure the statistics of like violence against like, queer people or homosexuals.
If it's gone up or down.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that because I wouldn't say that representation of like a certain group of people would actually like decrease the amount of violence put on them. There's like more black people than ever that are like mad famous and like or rich as fuck, like, or on TV and the movies and shit. But like that doesn't reflect the amount of like violence against like the black nation in the United States that's going on against like the black nation from like the police or the state. Like they don't reflect one another. So I think like representation is dangerous because like the representation like politics of it are dangerous because like again, like I said, it's very like it's like virtuous. It's more like virtue rather than material like transformation. And so I think, ultimately, I could go on to this and that.
I just think about people in the middle of the country or in areas where like there isn't a lot of diversity and just like so a lot of these places are like where it's more conservative, right? And like they have real boogeymen. You can scare these people by saying they're coming across the border. There's hordes of immigrants coming across the border, and it's like, I live in San Diego. It's not happening. Like people come through like the legal points of entry. That's where everything comes in. That's why there's like cartel wars for like winning like the plazas, right? Like it's not dudes coming through the desert. Not like, I don't know. There's nothing to be scared of. And
I mean, like, ultimately, like, to me, there's nothing. I have no problem with people like. I have no problems with people who live here who are undocumented at all. Like, the reason that people come from Mexico to the United States is because, like, the U.S., like, fucking instituted NAFTA in the 90s and, like, destabilized the country and, like, the economy and, like, forced people to migrate here. So it's like the U.S. does all these fucked up things in other countries. Then when the repercussions are that people are fleeing their country because of instability, like, and they come to the U.S., like, then the U.S. government's like, what the fuck? Or, like, conservatives are incorrectly like blaming like the masses or like undocumented people. It's like, dude, like the government itself, the state, like they caused this shit to happen. Like you think people want to like risk their lives to if they had a choice between risking their lives to coming going to another country or having a stabilized, like staying in their country and it being stabilized and them being able to like work and live and survive.
Yeah, like, who wants to leave their family to go somewhere foreign?
Yeah,
they want to be with their family in a place they know.
Yeah,
but that's all kabuki theater anyway. Because if they were serious about cracking down on the stuff, they would go after the businesses. That's the only way.
What do you mean?
Is to go at the businesses that are hiring people. They don't want to fuck with that part though.
Oh yeah, of course they don't want to fuck with the.
They don't want to fuck with
the farming industry is like, and in Oxnard, the agriculture industry is like I think it makes billions. The Ventura County makes billions a year.
Yeah, or hospitality.
Oh yeah, exactly.
All of it. They could go. I mean, if
Because
they were,
they're down to exploit people, but when it comes to scapegoating them for their political reasons, they'll do it.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
and to win over one half of the country.
yes,
You know, and it's ultimately that's the hard part is that like there are so many of the masses in this country of people who are like having these incorrect ideas and like ignorant views, and ultimately like these aren't things that they were born thinking. Like these are pushed to them, by not just their peers, but by like these politicians who like peddle this shit, and it's super frustrating, but also like again it goes back to instead of like looking at the top and just saying, oh, these people are conservative and like fuck these fools. Like, yeah, like they're mad, they can be mad racist and shit. Like, fuck that. But like, get to the root of what it is that's causing them to like a lot of these people, like working class people who are like Trump supporters. They're upset about not having work, not having work, housing, things like that. A lot of the things that like people that are consider themselves like Democrats or liberals or whatever. They talk about as well, But then the thing is that both parties blame different things for something that they both condone. They both condone like U.S. imperialism and capitalism. Like they just pit the masses against each other, So it's just figuring out how to. For me, it's like how can we? What's the word? Readjust the people's like. Anger at each other and readjust it towards being angry at who's at the top.
yeah. And the way is by writing some dope ass hooks, dude.
It's part of it.
Yeah, I mean you gotta bring him in first.
Yeah, of
You
course.
gotta bring him in. So, do you have anything else you want to get into?
I don't know. I want to say, I was gonna. It's funny because I was just thinking about the punk and the hardcore scene growing up. I have a twin brother. Mm-hmm. And, like, we both started in the punk scene, but then he got more into the hardcore scene, and I kind of stayed around the punk scene more, but I would go to hardcore shows. And it's funny because mostly the main bands that I always liked, even though I was, like, a punk, and I think I've seen this is, like, pretty common, is, like, In Control is, like, universally, like, loved and respected by punks and hardcore kids. Mm-hmm. And then like Retaliate too as well. Like a lot of punks like fuck with Retaliate like heavy. And then Vendetta for me was like, Andrew's band Vendetta.
Yeah.
Was like that was one of the first like hardcore bands that I was like when I was like 17, I saw them play, I was like, damn, this shit's the shit. Like the fuck?
They cared about their craft.
Yeah.
And Vendetta and Retaliate is like the same band. Basically.
Same members, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't play in Vendetta, did you?
No, because like we basically Retaliate I started as like a side project outside In Control, and I just wanted to do one show. And then we started playing and they really enjoyed it, and I was like, I have to go do like my full-time band. And so Retaliate did like I don't know, I think we were around in the year 2002 and 2003. And then we didn't do anything for a few years, and that's when they started Vendetta. Because they wanted to keep playing. So it's like Retaliate without me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Retaliate has been around that long.
Yeah, 2002 was our demo.
Shit.
And first LP, 06. So,
damn.
Yeah. Fourth LP this year.
That's crazy. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
I remember seeing you guys play. I think first time I saw you play, where was it? It might have been Sound and Fury. 2009.
Yeah. Was that Santa Barbara or Ventura?
In Oxnard.
That's the best one. Yeah, Escape Palace.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
At that show.
Yeah, that was so fun.
That's the last time I can remember. Maybe I saw you before and I just didn't realize it when I was younger, but that was the last time I remember. And I think I brought a boogie board to that show.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. And like was boogie boarding into the crowd, and like all kinds of people were boogie boarding. And then I saw you guys, after that I saw you guys. I think you guys opened up for Instead.
Oh yeah.
At like Mega Rock.
That was a weird little like one-off show. Huh?
There was like 20 people there or something.
Yeah, that was really weird. And that was like, I want to say that was like kind of a stacked bill too. It was like Instead on like a reunion tour, and then I want to say like Betrayed played, and then us.
No idea. I don't remember.
Yeah. So Betrayed is like one of Todd Jones's band plus
Okay.
plus like Aram from the band Champion from Seattle.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So they were a pretty successful band too, and yeah, that show is fucking weird. It's like probably like 35, 40 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a small ass room too.
In a weird little room like that I never saw a show there before or after.
Yeah. That was cool. I had a fun time at that show. And then like yeah, maybe I do remember Betrayed played. I mean,
Well, I remember Aram was there, and there's no reason he would have been there if Betrayed didn't play.
was Todd Jones there?
Well, he had to have been.
If he played, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing it. Because I didn't meet Todd Jones till like I was in El Mariachi, you know.
Okay.
Because he was close. He knew Nick Omer, you know. Rest in peace to Nick Omer. you know.
R.I.P. Nick.
And so when he heard our band, he was like, Todd Jones was all about it. He was like, "You guys are the shit. Like, I fuck with you." Like, he was super supportive and like, I think I didn't meet him. I don't remember when I met him, but yeah, it wasn't El Mariachi. But yeah, I remember seeing Retaliate a few times and being like, and my brother specifically, he's the one who showed me you guys, I think, and he was like super about it. And then like Vendetta, I seen Vendetta probably when I was like 16 or 17
Yeah.
at like Mice Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Where's that? That on Boulevard?
It was on in Ventura, next to like the 99-cent store.
Okay, word. Yeah, I have no
Vicinity
idea.
Mall.
I can't. Oh,
And there was like poles coming out of the ground.
it sounds so familiar. I can't. Dude, it's, you know, I read this thing recently, and I don't know if it's fucking total bullshit or not, but it was like a person of average intelligence could only like remember like 120 people. So that means like,
fuck?
yeah, well, okay, it's not like historical figures. Like, George Washington, right? No, I'm talking about like, I know you. I know your name. I know your face, and I can say something about you. You know? Like, yeah, it's like a really low amount, like 120. Well, maybe 120 is a lot. If you wrote them all out, it's a lot of fucking people.
Damn, I kind of want to try that.
I know, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, because weird memories, like, have disappeared from my brain. Like, that. Like, yeah, I remember Mice Cafe, but I have no fucking idea where it was. You know what I mean? And it's like, it totally got replaced by some other thing that I now know. You know, I don't think that our memories are, like, infinite, that we can keep adding. It's like, it's actually a fucking basket where it's like overflowing
out,
every time, you know?
Yeah, you're right, because there's things I'm trying to remember, like, you know, like, was my first show at the Oxnard High School, or was it at like the Underground?
Yeah.
Or was it at the Livery? Like, certain things become blurry, like who played what, and who was there.
And also, like, I think about there's someone I know, and they kind of had a fucked up life, and when you talk to him, his like memory about like elementary school is pretty vivid, and so it's like he never was able to like push out all those old memories with like new memories, right? If you were like,
Shit.
you know what I mean? Like if you kind of had
yeah.
a fucked up life later and nothing really happened, or you were like institutionalized or whatever, and like, so yeah, you remember all that stuff. Like, remember in 5th grade when this happened? Like, no fucking way, dude. Like, that memory got like wiped out like the first time like I kissed a girl. You know, like
Everything else is gone.
yeah, it's like it's fucking done, dude. You know. So yeah, I think the memory stuff is fucking weird. But yeah, dude, hardcore rules, punk rock rules. That's why it's fun when people cross over a little bit.
I agree.
So it's you can never take the roots away. In fact, it probably does have, like, I don't know if this is conscious to you or not, but I think it does have something to do with like your writing style, that like there's no real fluff on your music. You know, it's pretty immediate, to the point, nice hooks, not a lot of bullshit. No super like long intros and long outros. It's like, let's just fucking rip it.
Yeah, it's,
you know, in another style.
So. Yeah, it is kind of similar to the punk thing. I agree. I didn't really think about it that way.
Well, it's just because it's in you.
Yeah, maybe so, huh?
You know, like, I mean, I can't write a fluffy song, you know, with a nice, like, let's shoegazy intro.
I really don't like shoegaze music. I used to like it a lot, but I can't listen. It's too fluffy, too, like, drawn out. I'm too impatient, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I respect everything, right? But But whatever. But yeah, dude. So do you feel like you've been well represented? Yeah?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, if you listen and you hate it, we can always do a part 2.
Okay.
So I'm around. I'm not hard to find, like Lil
yeah.
Boozy. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, of course.